Yo, welcome back to another episode of Superhero Swag. I'm your host, 16 the Icon, aka Mr. Superhero Swag. And today, we are going to look at the retro card Spider-Man Marvel's Kaine. Now, this guy is actually a clone, or an imperfect clone, of Peter Parker. Now the story on this guy is there's a whole clone saga. You either like it or you didn't like it back when comics, when they did the clone saga back in the comics. And later on, you may have seen in the Spider-Man PS5 game, you probably saw the Scarlet Spider in the red and black. Now later, after he debuts in this, he goes on to put on the red and black Spider-Man suit, and he's got the what is it, like some things that come out of his forearm. They come out of his forearm kind of like some Wolverine claws, but they're not exactly claws. It's like a spike that comes out of his inner forearm, both sides. He does not set off Peter's spider sense because he essentially is Peter, and this was done by the Jackal, and that character I do not have, but he cloned Peter, and this is the figure as the figure was walking around in Marvel Comics with this look. And of course, no one knew who this guy was or what was going on with this guy until the story blossomed. And then we found out that it was Kaine. Now, when you open the box, right here, you see the other action figures that were included. You see Spider-Man Unlimited, Agent Venom, Spider-Boy, Electro Francine Fry, Marvel's Kaine, and Marvel's Chameleon. Now, Marvel's Chameleon will be the next action figure that I will be reviewing. And then I'm going to go on to try and grab that Agent Venom. As I said in other reviews, Spider-Man Unlimited, I have no ties to that particular version of the character. Don't like that suit. He will definitely be one of the last, he'll be the last action figure that I get from this wave. Now, the only thing about this Kaine figure that I will say I like is it is completely comic book accurate. The look and everything to this guy is exactly the way it was in the book when everyone was trying to figure out who he was. Of course, they gave him the little spikes on the side, which would give you a more Batman feel. If you check those spikes out, you got a more Batman feel. It's an all new sculpt because it has all of these lines running all the way through it. Okay, she was actually just here just for, just to have a doctor, that may have cloned this guy. But he's got the hard waist swivel. He's got the ab crunch. I actually like that combo. It gives them a nice amount of articulation for action poses. The one thing that I will say I do not like is this. The whole cape thing, it can come off. It does complete the look. It does, give him the comic book accuracy. If I was to be still running those tests like I did earlier in the earlier days, he would win for comic book accuracy simply because of the cape. But we need to start getting away from the hard plastic capes and start getting into, even if it's cheaper material, we need to start getting into cloth capes. Definitely, let me throw my hat in the ring on this. If we're doing that Maximum Series Thor, it had better have a cloth cape, a cloth wire cape, or just a cloth cape. Cloth wire cape would be even better, since they're charging $50 to $75 for these Maximum Series figures. Yeah, let's get that cloth wired cape for Thor so we can get those dynamic action poses with the Thor with the cape floating in the breeze and looking all majestic, and just turn up to 11 on the action poses. All right, now as far as articulation on this guy, he can look down that far, which is good because he's pretty strong, so he would beat the hell out of somebody and be looking down at him like, what you want? What do you want now? All right, he's got long hair, so you can't really get him to look up unless you use the ab crunch. That's how you're going to get him to look up at anyone if he did have to. For a vanilla pose, it'll be great with this cape, but I'm going to keep talking about it because if you trying to get him in an action pose, unless he is going in this direction, you're really not going to get anything too dynamic on this guy unless he's moving in that direction. If he's moving in that direction, then you can get something pretty dynamic on him coming towards you or whatnot. But the cape is going to, because it's hard plastic, is going to hinder a lot of your action poses that you're going to try and put this guy in, because he can only be going from one direction. The wind is, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. So he's got double jointed elbows. Okay, so we got double jointed elbows, which gives you full range on those arms. You got double jointed knees. Let's give him the Robo test. Robo don't know. Yes, he can kick his own ass. And I mean, like I said, they gave him these little spikes and whatnot to differentiate him from the actual Spider-Man character and give him a more hard, badass Batman looking feel, because, you know, he's like, who the hell is this guy with his cape like flowing in the breeze and the long, sexy, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But looking at this character, like I said, it's a very good interpretation of the comic book version of this character. It is completely comic book accurate in that respect. And of course, you've got the, with the foot, the feet, front facing pin for rocker, upper thigh cut. This guy is nicely articulated. Like I said, my main problem would be this cape, because it hinders the articulation, it hinders the directions that you can pose this guy in and it not look silly. But this is actually a short review because, and a lot of people in the community have been complaining about this, so let me chime in on it. The only thing that Kaine came with are a set of open hands. He comes out the box with a set of fisted hands, and that's it. You don't get anything else. Yeah, that's why the doctor's looking like, really? Yeah, that's really, that's it. You get an extra set of hands, open hands. He comes out of the box with the fisted hands. All new sculpt, because I don't know if they're ever going to do this again. So hats off to Hasbro for doing this figure, because they had to do all of those little lines. All of these little lines in his legs are sculpted in. This is all sculpted in. And this is the only character that is really going to have this type of stuff going on with this particular body mode, unless they do another Venom and they were to, no, not another Venom, but another, maybe another Carnage or another symbiote might be able to, they might be able to utilize that sculpt. But for the most part, it is pretty much just Kaine. Just Kaine that is going to have this sculpt. And as I said, for you guys that did not know, this is the imperfect clone of Peter Parker. And it even says on the back of the box, as the first of Jackal's attempts to clone Peter Parker, Kaine was left with conflicted feelings towards both his maker and Spider-Man. Now, if you guys have been watching the Marvel Legends Shorts universe here on 16 TV, you're probably wondering if this character will show up in the Spider-Man series, and you will just have to watch and see if this character will pop up. But I will give you a little bit of an Easter egg and tell you that a lot of the figures that I pick up in my personal collection are not just to warm the shelves in the Hall of Legends and look cool in my man cave. They are actually to be put to use and put in the Marvel Legends Shorts universe to entertain people that watch the channel. So yeah, like I said, this is a short review, and I think the review for Chameleon will probably be around the same length, because they're not really all that big on the accessories. The accessories are not plentiful right now, especially in this wave. You didn't get a whole lot, but I'm actually almost done with this wave. I got 2 more figures before I'm done with this wave. As I said, Spider-Man Unlimited will be the last figure that I get, and I'm gonna see what I can do with this guy as far as doing something about this cape, because I mean, yeah, you can pop the head off and you can take it off. It is a separate piece, and then, you know, maybe I can have him. Yeah, see, he can do a lot more just like this. You know, the cape is for style, but he can do a lot more just like that. Just like that. So don't be surprised if you see him pop up in the Spider-Man series and he's just like that at first, and then I give him the cape for just a scene where he's standing there thinking or something, because it's not gonna let him do anything, man. And then what does it have the spike on there for? What's the spike on there for? Just for style? So it's like I'm thinking too hard, man. I'm thinking too hard. All right, well, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and get notified. Thank you for watching. This has been another episode of Superhero Swag, Superhero Swag, Superhero Swag, Superhero Swag. Yeah. All right, so I'll check you guys out in the next episode when we do the Chameleon from this same wave of the Retro Spider-Man. And yeah, make sure you tune in to follow Dr. Francine Fry, her story, because you know that Dr. Francine Fry turns out to be Electro. So we are doing her story. And there's a whole bunch of other shorts that you can watch on there as well. Not to mention, make sure you go on Spotify and stream Lumberjack and stream Mando from my new upcoming EP, Hip Hop Strikes Back. I'm going to stop doing the shameless plug, let you guys go because I value your time. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Deuces.